other gods. We lay our crowns and worship you.
Sing it again, oh,
be lifted
above all other gods,
above all other gods. We lay our crowns and worship.
Oh, glorious God, say,
Oh, glorious God, we praise your name. We lay our crowns and worship.
oh, glorious God, yeah.
Oh, glorious God, we praise your name. We lay our crowns and worship.
Oh, be lifted, say,
Oh, be lifted
above all other gods, above all.
above all other gods.
Say, we lay
Our crowns
worship.
and worship you.
Say, oh, be lifted.
Hello, family. It's such a wonderful time to come your way. Afishiapa, and Happy New Year to all of you out there. I've just missed all of you, and we thank God for 2024. I made it so soon, and see what the Lord has done. We made it. We made it to 2024, and it's not by our own doing, it's by the special grace of God. You know, this year, the Inside View, we are going to more intentional, strategic, and also very, very intimate with you. And we've got a lot of programs lined up for you, and I don't want you to miss out. Anytime I send out this, these flyers out there, please share. Please share and let other people also join the family. We want the Inside family to grow big and bigger. So if you actually, can do me this honest, tonight, please share the link. Share the link for me. From the Inside View with Nana, from my page, and also from my, actual page, and I have also Hagen page as well. And also, we are also live on YouTube. So on all these platforms, I'll please urge you to share these amazing and also sensational interviews. The Inside View was born out of crisis during the pandemic. And it gave me time to reflect on, some of the issues that we have in our community. I'm thinking, we don't have a platform where we can all express ourselves, share our success stories, educate ourselves. So I thought, and I took it upon myself that, hey, let me do something. Let me, bring certain awareness. And here we are. The Inside View has come to stay. And I would say that now the Inside View is a major force in the city, and not just in Bradford, across the world. So, crisis is so important. Tonight, we are going to talk about beginning the year with a mindset of overcoming, crisis. In other words, we are just going to talk about how we can outlast crisis. And I have with me in the studio tonight an entrepreneur, a pastor, a father, a wife, and also an author who is doing amazingly well in the city of Bradford. And he's no other person than my own dear brother, Pastor Kofi Owusu Amoateng. Pastor Kofi,
Anna,
how about the Inside View? And
Anna, thank you.
well.
Yes, as we shepherd to you as well. Happy New Year to your cherished viewers. It's always a joy to be with you.
Thank you.
I thank God
Thank you.
seeing you from crisis times and what God is doing. I think the topic we don't really need to talk too much. People need to just look at your story and hopefully they can get some lessons from it. So hey, Anna, it's always a joy to be with you.
Thank you so much. The best time, I normally tell people the best time to innovate is during times of crisis. The best time to create or innovate is during times of crisis. And I think you just exude what we are going to talk about in terms of confidence, in terms of opening businesses, in terms of writing, in terms of leading, the youth and also the church, in doing exploits. So I will say that tonight, you'll be the best person to talk about outlasting, crisis.
Yeah.
And viewers out there, please, Pastor Kofi has written a book, Outlasting Crisis Season. Outlasting Crisis Season. And my, oh my, this book is super packed. If you haven't actually gotten a copy yet, I will urge you to get one. And even buy one for your, friends, your children. I think it's high time we stop buying toys for our children and start investing in books for our children.
Yes.
Books, 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 books. It's so, so important. So if you want to, especially in 2024, we've just, started January. We don't know what is ahead of us. So in case something happens, are you really prepared? Have you positioned yourself? Have you positioned yourself well to overcome, the unseen? Pastor Kofi, you've shared your story many times. And, for the sake of, our new viewers who haven't actually chanced on your story, how you've managed to turn pain into purpose and also into this strategic advantage that we are all enjoying today. If you can actually, say a little bit about yourself. But before we go into that, many a times we start the new year with a lot of resolutions. I just want to lose weight. I want to check on my health. I want to do so many things. Why do we always begin the year with resolutions, knowing very well that sometimes we're not even able to follow through? Why do you think resolutions are so important?
Anna, thank you so, so much. Again, thank you for all your cherished viewers that are joining us. We hope that by the end of tonight, like you rightly said, we will be blessed and we can learn a lot from it. But coming over to your question, why is it so? Why is it that resolutions are such powerful things? And our resolutions are powerful things. I believe that the new year, all the time when we enter into it, maybe people don't realize it, but a new year actually is very powerful. Number one, I'll be very straightforward. If you are a believer in God, you will realize that God is a God of the new. There are a lot of scriptures that says that, behold, I do a new thing. Forget the old one. I'm doing a new thing. Every time God speaks, for instance, is all about the new. So I call it, God is a God of the new. The new, the new old wineskin and the new wineskin. A lot of things if you want to go into it. So I believe that God is a God of the new. And because we are created in the image of God, whenever we are starting something new, we are excited and we are enthusiastic. And that's why you realize that the issue of setting goals and all these things we're talking about is really strong in the new year, because there is something in us that is connected to the image of God that makes us also like the new. Okay, that's why New Year resolutions is very powerful. Number two, the reason for resolution is it allows us to really set our priorities right. So, for instance, somewhere in 2023, I wanted to lose weight, but maybe I couldn't get it. In the new year, something in me springs up to make me feel that, okay, let me bring back that resolution. Number three, if I should give you three reasons. Number three, things that I couldn't do New Year allows me to do it if really you maximize on it. But I think the problem, if I'm to add to it, is a lot of people set resolutions mostly at the beginning of the year, like this conversation we're having at such a time like this, only to find out that by March, by May, by June, and sometime by the time we get into December, they have already not maximized their resolution. So the current research on ground have found out that almost about 80 to 85% of people that start with resolutions don't actually go about to fulfill them, or they forget about it along the way. So just a small percentage are able to fulfill their resolutions. So resolutions are great, but Anna, with what we have discovered, and if your listeners will open up, they will attest to the fact that many people have even stopped going out or starting the year with resolutions or having resolutions because it has become a thing of the past. I have an example of a friend 5 years ago that I greeted and said, Happy New Year. And he looked at me in the bus and said, There's nothing new about the new year. And when she sat by me, she told me that I have stopped believing in New Year resolutions and all these things because, hey, between 31st and 1st, it's just one night. So if I was working, it's still work. But there is a power in it. Depends on how you start. And I always say start with purpose.
Wonderful. Always start with purpose. Wow. Your life is the testament to all of us. I've watched you, actually grow up, and here you are. I mean, you become, I'll say, a big man now. I
We
mean,
are
if
getting,
that's, I
we are
mean,
not there yet.
if
Thank
that's
you.
so, I mean, right to say, yeah. And I mean, it's good. It's good to watch you grow um, into what we are all actually witnessing. But your life, you always talk about pain and
Yes.
how you've managed to turn your pain into an advantage,
Mm,
and also how your pain or your crisis
yeah.
as a young boy, growing up,
Mm,
has made you what you
yeah.
are today. And so you have actually written books on purpose,
Hmm.
on the four quadrants.
Yes.
Um, you know, I mean, if you can
Mm, a lot.
just,
A lot.
I
You
mean, a
can't
lot.
go. Yes.
I mean, so many books, audio
Yes.
books, and many
Yeah.
more. And but this book, especially,
Mm,
just like I said, it's an exceptional because
mm,
outlasting crisis. We don't normally, think about how we can circumvent,
yes.
crisis, and then we just throw our hands up in the air, not
Mm,
knowing what to do in times of crisis. The
mm,
typical example is the, coronavirus.
yeah.
I would say, COVID-19, and
Yes. Mm,
the Ukraine war, and many
yeah.
more.
Mm,
I mean, they are all unexpected, but
mm,
yet we are just going through all these crises, and yeah. So if you can actually share with us
mhm,
just a little bit about your pain
mm,
and how these pain or this pain
mm,
did not brought you down, but
mm.
you were able to rise above the pain.
Mm.
Yeah, before we go into your book,
Wow.
please.
Nana, that is a very deep question. Really. I call it my pain profile. And I believe that we all have profiles. You see, you can open a folder in your laptop or your phone and put pictures there, stuff. We all have a pain profile. We all have. Crisis is something that happens to all of us, really. And everybody who is watching tonight will identify with us here. As a matter of fact, there are people who are watching us right now. They are going through one crisis or the other. Crisis is a pain. Maybe Nana will ask me questions, so I will define it as we go on and as we go on. But there are people on the line right now who have either been through crisis, they are in crisis, or the reason for tonight is going to prepare somebody to also get himself ready so that when the crisis comes, you know how to deal with it, which the topic is outlasting crisis. We'll come deeply into that. But and now you've asked me a question on my profile. To tell the truth, I think my first realization of pain was the death of my mother. So if you have lost a parent, you can identify with me. I was 8 when that happened. My sisters were even younger. As a matter of fact, recently, not too long ago, my sister asked me a picture, whether this is the picture of our mother, because for them, they even did not know their mother. So even their pain doubled. Um, the pain of losing parents. Not only have I lost my mom, I've also lost my dad. Nana knew me probably in my 20s when I lost my dad as well. And all these things are painful things. The pain of struggling academically. I struggled academically to the point that my dad, at some point, was looking after somebody more than me, somebody who was not a biological child more than me, because I struggled academically. Perhaps all the way of dealing with pain, and nobody had these conversations we're having here. It affected me mentally. I can push and say that when we talk about child abuse and all those things, those pains I've also been through it. I don't want to go deep into it. There are people watching. I don't want to hold on to certain things. The pain of accidents. To tell you the truth, I'm sitting down here. At some point, I had an accident. If my colleagues in school, those of you who know me right from primary school, when I was in junior secondary school, which is equivalent to maybe year 9, year 10, year 11, I had such a serious accident that shut the whole school down. And as a matter of fact, I passed out. By the time I woke up, I was in a hospital. And the doctors were determining whether my leg could be amputated or not. And the reason was because my kneecap had opened during that accident. My kneecap, your knee, the cap is very
Yeah.
strong. It was able to break and open. And that's the first time I saw that within your kneecap, you see the way you can able to turn your legs, you can fold your legs and bend, is because there is something inside the kneecap that when it breaks, it cannot be repaired. So your leg is as good as dead. The only thing that saved me was that when my kneecap broke open, that three things did not destroy. It's like X. It's like small X. I saw it. It showed me. It's like X. Very long time ago. So the pain of accident, I've experienced it before. I can go on and on. But Nana, you see, when growing up, one of the things that changed me, that perhaps it goes into the books and not just the books, but everything, is when my pain drove me to encounter God. Because I had a lot of questions. And for me, my dad would take me to church. That pain, when I grew up at the age of 16, 17, 18, when I got to 19, it drove me to seek God and all these things. Nana, pain can do two things in your life. You see, within pain is the secret of life. The secret of success is learning how to use your pain instead of your pain using you.
Oh,
As is the
that's
bone of
profound.
contention. You either can use pain to your advantage, because whether you like it or not, it will come. Whether you pray against it, it will come. Is the secret to success is this. Let somebody get it right now. Is how you use your pain and not let your pain use you. You see, I learned through my story to use pain to my advantage and not let pain use me. If you use pain to your advantage, you will be in control of your life. You will cruise. If you let pain use you, pain will control your life and it will destroy you. I, at some point, was torn between alcoholism, drugs, and madness as against insanity, because I had a legal ground. I had gone through pain. I was going through pain. I've lost mom. I've lost dad. My sisters depend on me at the age of 20. What, as a young man, how can you go through all this pain? You see, I met a lot of young people who were in my situation, and they have become alcoholics and they become drug addicts. And I don't blame them. It's because pain is using them instead of using pain. And if I push a little bit forward, do you know that the, the word passion comes from pain? Anybody that is passionate in an area positively, you check the person's life is because of the pain the person have been through. So in the Hebrew word, the word passion come from pain. That is why when they were reacting the life of Jesus, they call it the passion of the Christ. Actually, it is the pain of the Christ. His passion was as a result of the pain he went through. So out of your pain, you can be successful. It can help you to develop passion in an area that anybody who have never been through what you are going through actually cannot compete with you. That is my secret.
Wow.
Out of pain comes also the word that you don't know called compassion. Compassion. You see passion in it. Compassion. So that because of what you have been through and how you have been able to positively deal with it, somebody who is compassionate simply help others to go through what they are also going through, which is similar to what he went through.
Mm.
And these two things can never be discovered if you don't go through pain. So pain has a positive side to it. As a matter of fact, I put it this way: if you don't have one, ask God for one. Because the average person wants pleasure. The average person does not want to suffer. But suffering is the path to greatness. A great example is Jesus Christ. We all mention Nelson Mandela. We all mention Martin Luther King. They were not in a five-star hotel when they became what they became. They were in pain. And the world, even today, remember all these men I've just mentioned, including, I believe, myself. If I'm honest, I'm just starting. But this is what I discovered, Nana. You can't stop pain. You can't stop crisis. The only thing you can do is to outlast it. And that's why we are here. And I hope that as we go deeper.
Yeah.
So that's mine and what I've learned.
Great. We cannot talk about crisis or pain without not talking about purpose.
Yes.
And since you are an authority in the area of purpose, living for a purpose or alive for a purpose, we just want to know, what does it mean to have a sense of purpose in your life?
And that's very deep. I have a whole coaching school for that, because your purpose in life is such great. We can't use 2 minutes to define all of it. But just to help somebody, using one line, purpose becomes your centralized life aim. And everyone must have a centralized life aim. And the reason why it is powerful is because it is what should determine how you live your life. For instance, me now, it's not every call that I can pick. As a matter of fact, if you see my life in 1 year, you'll be surprised. My purpose gives me focus. The power of purpose comes in the vision that it gives you. Why are you doing what you are doing is the question of purpose. So purpose answer why. Purpose is not what. Purpose is why. The reason why somebody has booked a ticket to go to United Kingdom or London or Ghana right now, there is a why to it. You don't just book it. There's a why. The going is the vision. But the reason behind the going, maybe somebody have died, you have to go to funeral, or you are going towards that bus lane because you have to go to work. There is a why. There must be a why in your life. And sometimes bringing it back to this, one of the ways to bring your attention to the why in life is through pain. There are two things that shape life, Nana. It's either pain or pleasure. You can never live outside of it. You see, there are some people, somebody came to me and said this, you are talking about pain. All of my life, how do I discover my purpose when all my life food has been on my table, milk has been in the fridge, I don't work, I actually have a house because my dad and my mom is rich. That person has pleasure. That person still needs purpose. Why? So I asked the person, have you thought about this? One day you also grow. What can you do so that your father, when he becomes old, also will not come? Because some people, you see, researchers show that rich people, they are not, when they give them inheritance, they are not able to keep it well. because they have not had pain before.
Yeah.
More rich sons, they end up being foolish, as you say, because they have never been through pain before. So I was telling the person, listen, even if your life have gone through pain, it will can you through that pain, you are through that pleasure, you also even have to think about what I'm telling you and what we are discussing. And that is why your life should have a why. And maybe your why may be that I'll also position myself so that my dad becomes 70-year-old, will not throw him in a care home for somebody to just abuse him, but I'll be in a position to help him. So that can become your why you are doing what you are doing. In relation to, you see, the reason why people have resolutions, but they are not able to achieve it, is because they don't have a stronger why. That why becomes your purpose. I want to lose weight. You have been saying for the last 3 years. The reason is not the resolution of I want to lose weight or goal. The reason is that your why is not strong enough. When you have a stronger why to support it, I tell you, you wake up and you fulfill it. So this is what purpose is to cut it short. Purpose is my centralized life aim. At the center of my life, something is there that is making me do what I do. So it is not what do you do, it is why you do what you do. And if you genuinely answer that question, and it is worthwhile, that's why I said some of the people watching us need mentors. Some of the people need to study deep into this, because you may not answer, you may not understand the difference, but this is the truth. You must have a why in life, and your why is purpose. When purpose is not known, my spiritual father said, Miles Monroe, abuse become inevitable.
Inevitable.
You don't know the purpose of a chair, you will stand on it, but we sit on it. And the reason why we sit on it is because that is his purpose. So if you don't know the purpose of God for your life, you will abuse your life. But when you know it, pain brings it out. And so when pain comes into my life, it brings us out. We can look at coronavirus, for instance, Nana, and see that even the good things coronavirus brought out of us.
Yeah.
Depends how you see it. But I'll bring it to you.
Talking about COVID-19, it shows, it really exposed a lot of companies, a lot of, institutions, who were not strategically actually positioned to handle this crisis.
Yes.
You wrote in your book that man is not born to make a living, but to make a difference. What do you mean by that?
Nana, a very, very great question and very, very deep. You are not here to just make a living. You are here to make a difference. In other words, there are things that God wants to do through you beyond yourself. The average person growing is easy to become selfish. That is making a living. When I mentioned Jesus Christ. I mentioned earlier Nelson Mandela. I mentioned Martin Luther King. You can list up, you know them. We can put Mother Teresa in there. If you look at all these people, I will put my spiritual father, Miles Monroe, in there. You can look at all these people. One thing is synonymous to all of them. They did not just live for self. They lived to make a difference. There is a greater purpose in life, if I have time to go deep into it. At the height of it is to live and make a difference and make impact. The world must become a better place by the time you leave. Maybe you can't change the world but like Nelson Mandela, but your community, beyond your family. This is how we say that you came and you lived because you made difference. So life was not created for us to make just a living, was to make a difference. I will not just speak like I've spoken, but I've given you examples. And all of us, deep within us, we are to live beyond that. We are to go beyond us. And there is more to us. And that is one of the reasons why sometimes God allows pain to come through your life, so that you can discover your passion, you can discover your purpose that we are talking about, and that you can move forward to make a difference. So tonight's conversation will help somebody to recognize in his life that maybe that thing that I went through that I didn't die. They will normally say that whatever did not kill you makes you strong. It is true. And the strength
Right.
in it is for you to also empower others. And that is what we mean by making a difference. How much can you eat if you cook all the food in the world? Just a little. You
Yeah.
build 20-bedroom houses. How many of the room can you sleep a night? But you can make a difference by blessing others, by lifting others. We rise by raising others up. That's the principle in life. And that's what it means that you were not born to just make a living. You were born to make a difference. And let us wake up.
Yeah. Wonderful. We are still on the area of purpose, because purpose is, I'll say, the foundation of everything.
Yeah.
And I like the way you've actually explained purpose, and the importance of having a purpose in life. Also, you made mention in your book, vision
Yes.
and purpose. Why is vision and purpose so important in outlasting crisis?
Mm.
And how
Madam.
powerful are these two words?
Very deep questions. Very deep questions here. And I hope that people are taking notes and making, really, really gaining something. Really. You see, one of the things I encourage people before a crisis comes is to have purpose. Purpose is the main thing, then vision comes in. If you know where you are going, is vision. Yeah, the whole world will stand aside for you. And actually, your purpose and vision, pain will actually act as an instrument to work in it. That's how come very powerful it is. If you don't have these things, you see, let me give an example. Let's give an example so to make it very easy. An example of crisis we have seen. For instance, when there is a tsunami, it's a crisis. When there is an earthquake, it's a crisis. Those are general ones. Coronavirus is an example of a crisis. Now let's look at personal crisis. There is somebody who is maybe on the line by mistake or by a link somebody sent. You have lost your job. It's a crisis. Watch something. Let me use that one as an example. Be very personal. If you just lost your job and all that you see is the job, you will be disappointed and you can give up. Let's see a second person who has just lost a job. Applying for jobs, and the job is not coming. That is crisis. My bills will not be paid. Yes. My family will not be fed. Yes, that's crisis. But the second person who has a purpose, he has a why, he will see the crisis probably as an opportunity to maybe start his own company. So many of the people that have started their company, they started it as a result of the crisis. But the difference is they had a purpose, they had a why. And the why is, I see myself in a position where I can be of blessing to many people. So maybe I started by having a job and they just booted me out for any other reason. That crisis, because of the purpose, will help them to see a better why. They have a bigger why because something in them is greater than that job that they were doing. What vision now do to such a person is that he can see from where he is and that he can start with the idea, the time it has given him for not waking up to catch a bus to go to work, the death of the father, yes, but like myself, the ability to see that even though that this job has been taken away from me, it's creating crisis. Because of purpose, I will not let it disappoint me. But out of the pain, I will be more passionate. Out of the pain, I will use it, and to see far is the vision. To start from where I am until I begin to grow. So, Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, he started because he lost job and he was actually in school. And he started this idea from his father's kitchen, his father's garage. Those of you who want to study, you can go and study it. He started from his father's garage. What made him to do that? Because he had a purpose, and probably he had a vision. Today, every one of us here have a Facebook account.
Sure.
But if you go to the point he started because a job rejected him, but because of purpose and vision, he did not sit down to cry like one who does not have one, and kept abusing himself. At some point, some people at some point, I applied for a job, I'm not getting it, before I realized they start taking to alcohol. I'm not the only person that my mother and father is dead. There are many people. But at some point, some people I've met, they allow the pain to control them. So when you have purpose and vision, you control pain. Pain does not control you. Purpose and vision does not mean that pain will not come into your life. But purpose and vision is powerful because, number one, it helps you to control the pain and see it that maybe God is using the loss of job, the loss of my brother, my sister, or the crisis to do what? To move forward. Nana, the book you are holding that you are talking to me, I wrote 2 books in COVID. And I wrote the 2 books as an example to help somebody that I want to say that this is what I brought out of crisis. You see, when the whole world was locked up in the house, 2 things. It was research discovered that the domestic abuse increased by 40%. So it showed us that some men and women go to work because they don't want to be too close with their wives. Yes.
How sad.
And when we were all shut and were all put in there, purpose and vision came to being. While somebody was beating the wife and the husband, I was writing a book. Crisis is defined as an opportunity. I saw it as an opportunity that going to work takes me 12 hours. Now I have all the 12 hours at home. Purpose and vision is what made the difference. And after COVID had gone out and we're coming out, I had 2 books. This book and another book called The Relevant Church. Everybody should go and get it.
Wonderful.
So you see, the difference is what I'm sharing with you. How was I able to write 2 books in crisis when everybody was afraid, sitting behind BBC and their local news, and people were dying? Fortunately, you and I did not die. But what came out of it is purpose and vision. This is why your purpose is the most important aspect of your life. And with it, it gives you vision, ability to see far.
Yeah.
So that within crisis, you can actually see yourself out of the crisis.
Sure.
Yes. So this is why purpose and vision is very powerful. And that
amazing.
Pain will only shape you in moving forward. That's a little. There's more, but that's little I will share.
In trying to outlast, crisis, we cannot, talk about, crisis and not, talk about the mind, what the role that the mind plays in trying to outlast crisis. But here we are. A lot of us don't like investing in our mind or on our brain. We get easily distracted either by our phone, Facebook, YouTube, watching unnecessary things, reading materials that do not actually, benefit us.
Yeah.
But I mean, it gives us that kind of instant, gratification, but not necessarily empowering us or educating us or edifying us.
Yeah.
But in trying to outlast crisis, there should be some form of an investment in the mind.
Yes.
And in 2024, we've only, started January. We don't know, what is ahead of us. How can, people invest in the mind, in order to outlast any crisis that might, come? I mean, nobody knows, but or let's say somebody has lost their job now, or maybe
Yeah.
they've lost a loved one. It's a
Mm.
crisis in that person's life. So tonight, how can people invest in the mind in order to outlast either their current crisis they are actually going through,
Yeah.
or maybe the crisis that might actually maybe in the foreseeable future?
Yeah.
If there's
Nana,
anything that we is that we can do, yeah, anything that we can do to help, yeah.
Nana, for starters, this is why what you are doing is so powerful. This is why the inside view and the vision. I have known you. I, I always say that I was there from the beginning. I was the one that stayed with you for the first one till today. This is why I will encourage your cherished viewers and everybody who probably maybe came on because Kofi was coming on to stay with Nana. Because Nana, what you and I are doing right now is preparing somebody, because crisis always will come. Everybody will face crisis. This is a topic that is called to everybody. We can talk of AIDS, but maybe for all of our life, not everybody will get AIDS. But when we talk of crisis, every one of us either are going through, we began by saying some of us are already going through crisis. Some of us are about to go through crisis. And the reason why investing in your mind is powerful, you won't see it probably when in the crisis, but you will see it if your mind is prepared before crisis comes. You see, my mind was already prepared before coronavirus came. And so I came out with 2 books. And not only that, Yam Spice started in January 2020. That was crisis time, the height of the crisis, those of you who remember. It's been 5 years now, and the restaurant is still going on. Because we had made investment in our mind before the crisis came. So when the crisis came, we all have the tools to deal with it. It can be the death. It does not matter. It can be the death of a brother or a sister. Take time to mourn and get something we call closure. Even after the closure, I've seen people who have mourned their wives, mourned their fathers, and like I said, have gone into alcoholism and their lives are broken because they did not invest in their mind. So meetings like this is for somebody say, why should I join you to the end? It is preparing you for what you are going through and also preparing you so that if something comes, it will help you. And so you have to invest in your mind. You have to, one of the ways to invest in your mind is by reading books. Read. Watch things like this. Many of us spend time on TikTok, but we watch, excuse me to say, stupid things. When crisis comes, then it breaks us within 2 minutes. Instead of spending time on things like this, you might not get view. If I were to come and show my chest and show my teeth or whatever, Nana, you see how many people will be cheering?
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
Yes. Today, that's the foolishness that people are attracted to. But at the end of it, crisis comes and it drowns them. Invest in your mind is powerful for this very reason. And one of them is for some of the things that we are doing, what we are reading, we are doing. You see, when you invest in your mind, it helps you to get knowledge. When you invest in your mind, Nana, it helps you to get answers to problems. There is something I have been through that somebody is going through, and because I've been able to do it by just listening to me, no supernatural thing, it will help you to go through it. Investing in your mind stretches you beyond the crisis. Investing in your mind awakens you to some deep things in your life that your mind comes alive and you see something beyond the crisis you are going through. Investing in your mind helps you to see the next level. And because you see in the next level, Nana, you are not going to stop. You are not going to allow the loss of job, loss of family, after I've mourned him, to stop me from moving to crash down, because I've invested in my mind. Invested in your mind, Nana, opens you to the world, because sometimes during crisis, our mind thinks that we are the only person going through what you are going through. But I can promise you, there are millions of people going through what you are going through. And by stretching forth, you will get understanding. Investing in your mind, review yourself to yourself. The greatest discovery, write it down, is not car, it's not a house. The greatest discovery is self-discovery. Because when you have truly discovered yourself and your mind is safe for it, nothing will stop you from it. When you invest in your mind, you come to understand this. I cannot stop a crisis, but I can outlast a crisis. We couldn't stop coronavirus, but some of us brought books and businesses out of coronavirus. Do you know that at the time of coronavirus, somebody became a millionaire because he saw opportunity to sell masks and nose faces. And today, he has a capital to build other business. And if not the crisis, he would not. Investing in your mind, Nana, makes you to understand that a crisis is an opportunity. I learned it from the Japanese economy when I was making research. During the Hiroshima War, the Americans bombed 3/4 of Japan to the point that, and hear this one, to the point that the land of Japan was infested with chemicals that Japan could not grow anything or build anything. During the Hiroshima War, America threw bombs like what is happening now. That's crisis. Iraq and all of these. You rightly mentioned it, Russia, Ukraine war. All of them are crisis. Israel, Gaza is crisis. The same thing. Hiroshima war. They bombed Japan. Hear this. That the land of Japan could not do anything. Now, I read something. The Japanese leaders, the first thing they did was to have a meeting. And they said that, what can we do? So this is what, to summarize, this is what they did. They decided that of all the children that are born after, they were going to invest in their mind with one simple thing. They changed their language. That what you and I call crisis, a negative thing, they called it opportunity. So check. The word for crisis in Japan is opportunity. In other words, they invested in the mind. So today, anytime a Japanese sees a crisis, that's negative, whatever, pain, they think opportunity. So if a Japanese should translate crisis into English in his language, it sounds like this, opportunity. Today, Japan is one of the top 5 economies in the world. Nana, and we can trace it down to one thing. They invest in their mind and they saw it as an opportunity and they use that opportunity. Many of the phones you are using come from Japan. Many of the cars you are driving come from Japan. But the Hiroshima war turned the economy upside down. The power of investing in your mind is so powerful that you don't have to wait for crisis, because whether you like it or not, crisis will come. You know, the young ones watching us, learn it. Mommy will not be there all the time. Daddy will not be there all the time. And what we can do, I tell my children, I say, all my children have read my books. They read it and I pay them. And like rightly said, Anna, invest in their mind. The greatest of education is not in the school classroom. I tell people, you won't find this as a lecture in the university, even if you're a PhD holder. That's why what, Nana, you are doing is very powerful. You won't find it anywhere. There is no class in school that will teach you dealing with crisis. But they will give you antidepressant if you become depressed.
Wonderful.
And you must stay on for the rest of your life. For the young ones who are watching us, as I'm here, all my children are tuning. Whatever I do, they go with me. Like I said, they read all my books and I pay them. Why? They may not know. But when they get to 18, 19, 20, and maybe daddy is not there, I know that I've prepared them for the future. Nana, invest in your mind.
Yeah. I keep telling parents, we've bought a lot of toys for our children. Our children's rooms are overflowing with toys. under the bed, everywhere, toys, teddy bears, everything. This year, can we change it? Instead of buying toys, can we buy the books? And I'll just urge every parent out there to buy this book as your birthday present, Outlasting Crisis Season. You can get this on Amazon. It's on Kindle as well. So, those who find it difficult, to read, you can just, just buy it on Kindle, and straight away it will be on your device, and then you just carry, just carry it wherever you want to. Actually, Outlasting Crisis Season. This book is a must-read for every child, every teenager, and also, all of us adults as well. We need this book, to help us glide through, crisis. Pastor Kofi, there's something that I've also noticed, that creativity loves crisis. Creativity loves crisis. So how does times of crisis serve as a catalyst for creative action?
And your line is going off a bit, so I didn't get the question properly. If you can ask it again.
Oh, sorry. I said that, creativity loves crisis. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, I can.
I said, creativity loves crisis. So, you've talked about, purpose. You've talked about, how we can invest in our minds. You've talked about, vision. And now we just want to talk about how we can have that, creative mindset in trying to, deal or outlast crisis. Now, my question is, how does times of crisis serve as a, catalyst for creative action?
Yes, Anna, a very, very deep question again. You see, crisis, like we have said, we put everything we have put together to come into this question. Crisis pushes us in a condition that the mind begins to think. Abraham said something. Solomon said something. And I watched something. It is in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 from verse 1, 2, 3. Maybe somebody can open it. I never understood it, and I muffled with it for a very long time until I got it. Now this is what he said. He said, love to go to funeral more than you go to party. It's in the Bible. Love to go to funeral more than you go to party. But the average young person or any one of us watching me here, according to the systems of the world, is love to go to party more than you go to funeral. But Solomon, the wisest man that has ever lived, wrote, love to go to funeral more than you go to party. If you understand the statement that Solomon made, you understand the answer to the question that Nana just asked. Nana, if you have been to a party before, it shut your mind. Those of us who can even drink, by the time you come, you are already gone.
You're wasted.
You are, Nana, thank God for the word. You are wasted. If you are not wasted, your mind, you are shut down. You just want to sleep. And I will watch something. If you have gone to a funeral before, and even though is somebody who says, even our funeral today is like party, it's true. But watch something. Whenever you go to funeral, follow the cop and go to the burial site. Nana, even if you are 10 years old, your mind will activate and you begin to be creative. For the very first time, something will speak to you. Nana, when you go to the gravesite, let me explain to some of these young ones and some of the old ones who don't like this, but for the sake of the question, we can be 100 going to the funeral ground. It actually happened to me. One of my best teachers in Milton Keynes, may her wife's soul rest in peace. So I went to Milton Keynes. We went to the burial site. The car I stayed in when we were coming, somebody forgot his phone at the burial site. So 10 minutes driving out of the burial site, we had to come back. When they came back and they were searching for the phone, something told me to still go back to that 6 feet they have dug. When I went into the 6 feet, I look around, and of the 100 people that came, everybody had gone. Only left with those who were to cover. And I saw, let me describe it. I saw the coffin in 6 feet alone. Hundreds of people came, all of them came alone, and they started putting sand. Immediately, my mind became creative. One day, it will be me here. Now that I'm alive, what am I doing with my life to empty myself? My spiritual father said he would die to disappoint the cemetery, so that whilst he's alive, he'll empty himself. Even after he's gone, the cemetery will be disappointed. Immediately with that day, something activated in my mind. Creativity comes out of crisis. And I just gave you one example. Nana, so that's the answer I'll give to that.
Wow.
When we are in pain, our mind shifts. You see, I used to depend on my father. So I was a dadabi, like we call it. Some of us are mommy's boys, mommy's girls. But the moment mommy is not there, I felt like an old man that uses crutches to walk, and the crutches was taken out of the person.
Yeah.
He had to devise a way to walk. If not, the rain will beat him to death. So even if he will fall and crawl, he will fall and crawl. And the mind became creative and walked and took him there. So when my father died, out of the pain, I used the pain to my profit, not allow it to control me. And by that doing, it made my mind to open. My parent, my siblings are depending on me. I can't let my mother down. I can't disappoint my father. I'm not going to allow alcohol to destroy me. And the moment these thoughts begin to come, Nana, your creativity is activated. And you see that you begin to do things that will lift you up rather than bring you down. So somebody who is watching us right now, he has lost a job. Sorry. You have lost a parent. Sorry. A loved one actually is in hospital right now. The doctors have declared. And no matter what pastors pray, his time is going. Sorry for that. But what we are saying is, when you look at that person on the bed, it can be you one day. Now that you are strong in your 20s, in your 18s, in your first season in life, in this book, I'll talk about the first 4 seasons in life.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to be in a position? And Anna, that crisis actually activates your creativity. Amen.
Wonderful. You know, Pastor Kofi, we cannot talk about outlasting crisis without talking about these 2 examples, the eagle and the lion. What these 2 animals actually use crisis to do. If you can actually educate us on what the eagle especially does with crisis, does with storms, and also what the lion also does, in crisis.
Nana, very deep question. I will encourage everybody to go get the books. It will help you because it will help you to get more than what I'm sharing here. I love documentary. I love documentary. Attenborough is one of my favorite guys, and some of you know him. Those of you, yes. I spend a lot of time watching animals. I have folders on my phone. When I'm watching animals, I'm using things about animals to define what man is. And so if I open some of my folders and I show you what I've learned about animals, you'll be surprised. David Attenborough is one of my favorites. So I spent years to learn about eagles and lions. Nana, there are two animals even God identify himself to primarily. If you read the Bible, Christians watching me, these two animals, more, but these two animals are the eagles and the lion. Jesus himself is called the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Isaiah 40:31 says that they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They will mount up on wings, not like birds, but like eagles. So these two animals, you have to study them. And you have to study them because of their mindset, it's because of their character, it's because of their nature, and it's because of their attitude. The words I've just mentioned, don't forget them. Let me start with the lion, for instance. Say some few things, but go grab the book and read more if you are serious. The lion is not the biggest animal in the jungle. As a matter of fact, the elephant is 10 times bigger than the lion. See the elephant as crisis. See the elephant as crisis. Because when the elephant steps on the lion, he will kill him one stamp. But do you know that a group of pride, I don't know whether you know that a group of lions is called pride.
Yeah.
If you don't know, that's why you should read. Maybe we are learning some new English words as well. A group of pride can bring down an elephant. How come the elephant is 10 times bigger than the lion, but the lion can bring down the elephant? You are like a lion. Crisis is like the elephant. But if you behave like the lion, you can bring down the crisis. It is because of the mindset, it's because of the principles of the lion, it is because of the character and the attitude of lions. Nana, by looking at these animals, it teaches us that we must have a certain character, we must have a certain mindset, we must have a certain level of values and principles. If not, when crisis comes, it will beat you down. The mindset of the lion is this: you, lion, you are bigger than me, but I can bring you down. And through, most of the time, the lion brings elephants down. That's the lion because of time. The eagle is the king of the air, Nana, and fascinating. I have a lot of research in the book about eagles and relate them to you, your life as a human being, not even as a Christian, but as a human being. God just makes it easier for you. So that's why you see me, I'm speaking in a certain dimension.
Yeah.
The eagle is the king of the air. And what makes the eagle the king of the air is that when the wind is blowing, Nana, all birds run away. They see it as a crisis. But the eagle actually see storms as opportunity not to flap its wings. It's amazing. There is a bone in the eagle. It's called pelvic. Go and make scientific research. This is not biblical. I'm giving you scientific research. Pelvic. That pelvic bone is activated anytime the eagle sees storm. And so the eagle sees the storm as an opportunity for it to spread its wings. And instead of flapping to fly, it allows the wind to lift it. So to the mind of the eagle, the heavy crisis that all other birds are riding away actually is an opportunity for him to run and flow through it. That's why he says, they that wait upon the Lord, they will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagle. What he's talking about is that if we wait on God, you begin to activate your pelvic, that when crisis comes, you will see it as an opportunity.
Wonderful.
Anna, the eagle and the human being or Christian, no difference. If I have time, I'll go in it, but I don't have time. But let me give you one of these examples. Every eagle undergoes something called molting period. MOLTING. Now, the molting period, let me describe it to you, is a time of the year where the eagle hides himself. So Christians, the Bible says, they that dwell in the secret place. they that dwell in the secret place. Let me show you. The eagle has a mountain. Eagle does not stay on the ground. Eagle stays on mountain tops. He hides himself once every year, and it uses its beak to take off its feathers. A very painful time. It takes 40 days. That explains to you why Jesus, before he started his ministry, spent 40 days of prayer and fasting. After he had resurrected, he spent 40 days. Somebody who is not a Christian is watching me. If you like, do this. Every year, spend 40 days of the year. If you like, read books. If you like, gym, whatever, you will see what I'm telling you. The eagle takes its feathers off. 40 days, painfully, blood will be coming out. Crisis. Why is the eagle doing that? The eagle does that so that when the feathers grow again, his strength is renewed. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagle. They will run and not be weary. They will fly and they will not tarry. That's the eagle. 40 days a year, Nana. And they take it off, their feathers, and the feathers will grow back and they will fly. So you want to fly high? You can't fly high in life without crisis. The crisis or a storm can actually lift you to where your strength cannot take you. That's what the eagle does. And there's something I write in the book. When an eagle decides not to go through the molting period, he is as worse than a bird. That eagle stays in the valley, does not stay in the mountaintop. Time will not permit me to go deep into it.
Great. Just adding to what you just said, about the eagle. Actually, reading this book, opened my eyes, especially in regards to, their relationships. I mean, how they are so faithful, to each other. Once they find their spouse or whatever it is, they're so loyal, and they even understand the importance of having a good relationship.
Good. And so, like I said, that's why God identified himself with the eagle.
Literally edge this book. Outlasting crisis season, for every family. At least every family should get one.
All the books. Let people go and get it.
I'll personally, just recommend this book for every family out there. Outlasting crisis. I mean, there's a lot in this book to learn from. I have read this back to back. I think two times. And I was blown away, especially, what I learned about the eagle blew me away.
Yeah.
And what Pastor Kofi just said is just a tiny bit of what the eagle, the qualities or the characteristics of the eagle is I'll say just 1/3 of what is shared with us. So if you want to know more about the eagle and also about the lion,
Nana, can I say something quickly before your next question? Have you noticed that based on the revelations you have gotten from the book, Nana, should you encounter a problem right now, you see how prepared you are to overcome that problem?
Sure.
That is how the power of investing in your mind is.
Yeah.
There is something.
I'll say that I get educated all the time. Even though I'm interviewing people, I get to learn new things. And it has really forced me to read, especially if I, like I need to interview doctors, if I need to interview health professionals, for instance, I would have to read the topics myself. Even though I'm not a health professional, I would have to, understand what I'm about to talk about to be able. So gradually, I'll say, with time, I'll be able to outlast or circumvent, crisis. Yeah. Pastor Kofi, you birthed Young Spice out of crisis during the COVID-19. Where everybody was scared to come out, where everybody was, or the whole world, had lost hope, had no answers. People were just dying needlessly. And here you are, birthing new ideas open business, writing books. Tonight, I just want you to share with us how you've managed to use crisis to draw, your communication plan, your marketing, plan like in times of crisis. I mean, in dealing with, your business, because I presume, this crisis, I mean, basically came as a shock to everybody.
Yeah.
So for you during that time, communication wise, marketing wise, and also being a pastor, how were you able to lead and organize for impact? Like during those times of crisis, and has still managed to stay relevant. How have you been able to do it?
That is a deep question in one.
Yeah.
We will try and talk and speak something on
it.
Nana, I'll start from being a Christian. Working with God, He opens your eyes to things. It's revelation. And I think to answer that question, if you have not listened to us, you have to start from the front, because everything we have said comes into this question Nana have asked. To simplify it, I would say that we knew that a crisis is coming. As a matter of fact, if you are listening to me, let me help you. Even bigger crisis is coming. Is coming. So prepare yourself. After COVID, we are in what we call economic crisis. Is it not? The whole of the world. We have what we call high cost of living crisis right now.
Sure.
Everybody is struggling. So that means that after COVID, it has not finished. And being a Christian, we begin to understand the biblical prophecies from there. But let me put it out. Let me take that context from there. But that's the first one. Based on what we have shared, what has helped me as a pastor, as an entrepreneur, is because of the mindset based on what we are sharing here, that we are gaining. Let me put it that way. And that is the mindset that whenever there is a crisis, there is also an opportunity. I have a choice to allow the crisis to bring fear, to bring only sorrow, pain in my life, or I have a choice with even God's grace added to it, to use that crisis to become better. I'm a foreigner that just came into a foreign land, and all of a sudden, visa is limited, this, that. The ability for me to be able to maximize the challenges, yes, the grace of God. Two, is the ability to get this kind of revelation that is coming online right now, this conversation, these books, that this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. You see, there's an old African proverb that says that if the enemy within, if there is no enemy within, the enemy without can do no harm. It's an African proverb. If there is no enemy within, the enemy without can do no harm. If I am built on faith from my Christian perspective, I know that God will pull me through. That enemy without, which is the crisis, can do no harm to me. And these are some of the key things that have helped me in my ministerial work. As a matter of fact, our church grew more within COVID and after COVID than pre-COVID because of this. And that's how come I wrote the book, The Relevant Church. Church is not going to be relevant, for instance, because we clap hands and go after COVID. But there are certain things that must be done. Go find that book and read it if you're a very deep Christian or a pastor. So that's why I'm not going deep into Bibles and stuff. So this is one of the things that we discovered ahead based on the kingdom revelations we have, based on the biblical prophecies we have, studying the Bible to know that it was in the time of famine that Isaac got 100%. Made me to understand that when famine is coming on earth, it's an opportunity for me to build my business. It's an opportunity for me to use grace to scale it. I'm not saying it is easy. It is difficult for all of us. But these are some of the things that really I can share with you that help me, for instance, and it's still helping me to be able to scale beyond the problem. So now if you ask me, everything we have said, put together, if you begin to apply them, Nana, it will help you, be it ministry, be it business, be it personal, be it marriage, everything you can talk about, everything together will help you to pull forward. Nana. Yes. And are you there? Okay, so as we wait for Nana to come back and continue on with us, that is what I can do. What that is what I can share with you. So whatever you are going through, like I said, some of you and most of us, very sorry for the pain, the challenges, and we are having this conversation, and it is true. One thing, first, I want you to understand that all of us go through it. All of us go through it. I go through mine, you go through yours. What I can share mostly, it's not even sharing, is the things that we have talked about here, the books that have come out of it, a lot of things, the business that have been built out of it. It is possible by the information that you get. It is possible if you're a Christian, tilt towards biblical prophecies. All these things will shape you for you to understand. Looking at the life of Jesus,
Great.
looking at the life of Martin Luther King, Nana, yes, it will help you to really outscale it. Not only me, but I'm looking at you as well.
I mean,
all of us.
you've done amazingly well. I mean, in trying to, talk to us about how we can outlast, crisis. This year, just like I said, I just want everybody to be intentional about 2024. Pastor Kofi has blessed us with his book. And, there's a chapter in the book that I really loved. It says becoming intentional.
Mm.
We live in a world where we just live anyhow.
Mm.
We just go with the flow.
Mm.
This is in vogue. This is the new language. We just follow trend. We just fire. Anything goes.
Mm. Mm.
How do we stay focused and still manage to transition intentional if we want to outlast crisis?
Nana, becoming intentional actually is when we say intentional, let's find out, because the question you ask is within it, and a fantastic question. To be intentional means to increase focus. So you see, this is a personal discipline. Nana, if your viewers can see me, I am holding a pen and I watch something. If I intentionally bring the pen close to my eyes, the pen has become my focus. All other things I can't see. And that's the power of being intentional. And like you said, especially the young ones, they live anyhow. And many people, to become intentional is to increase focus on essential things that matters. What is necessary for your life must align with your priorities, your purpose, and your values. And the key is discipline. There is lack of discipline in our generation today. And if you are to be disciplined, you have to be intentional. You have to actually say to yourself, and like we said, whether you like it or not, you are Daddy B, you are Mommy B, whatever. One day, crisis will find you. You will be in crisis. It can be loss of a job. It can be a tsunami that happened to where you just bought a house. It can be coronavirus, another one that is coming. It can be anything. It will come to you. Now, what is intentional is, I know it is coming. I know it will come. But the power of intentionality is, I am prepared for it. If you don't prepare, Nana, you will repair. And I say that
Ooh, I like that.
repairing costs more than preparation. Have you noticed when your TV has gone off and you want to repair it, sometimes you better throw it away and buy a new one?
Yeah, sure.
The power of this intentionality is that it prepares you. It doesn't stop it. It prepares you that I am truly focused on my assignment, that whatever negatively fell in my life, because crisis is a negative circumstance like COVID, like a job, like a loss of parents. But after the death of my mom and dad, I will not continue whining. But that before mommy and daddy died, I used some of these things that I watched, some of these churches I went to, some of these things to prepare me. Because if you don't prepare, you will repair. Abraham Lincoln said something. He said, I will prepare and wait. Opportunity will come. I will prepare and wait. Opportunity will come. We don't prepare when opportunity comes. We prepare before opportunity comes. So, in the terms of what we are speaking, you prepare before crisis come. And that is why intentionality is key. You see, many people have heard some of these things before, but what tonight you are getting is why you should do it. So thank God for the questions. And why you should be serious with it. I will prepare and wait. If not, I will repair. And repairing will cost you more than preparation. So the wise among us will actually be intentional, be disciplined. You put marks around you. Now, the word discipline, which gives us intentionality, is the word disciple. How many people did Jesus work with? 12 people.
Well,
They called them the 12 disciples. What was he doing to them? He was disciplining them for 3 years. The word disciple is where we get the English word learner. So anybody that is disciplined is a learner. Anybody that is a disciple is learning. And the advantage of it is, when you learn and you become disciplined, you are able to overcome every challenge that comes against you. But if you don't prepare, when the challenge comes, you will repair.
Wow.
And remember, like I said, repairing costs more than preparing. Sometimes when I speak like this, I tell people I'm not just playing with words. I'm being serious. As a coach, I just try to find ways to get things in your ears that you never forget.
Wow. If you fail to prepare, you will repair.
I hope people are taking notes.
You see, I said if
The
you
cost of
fail to
repairing.
prepare, you will, you repair. And the cost of repairs, as we all know, sometimes can be
Higher.
very, very expensive. That's very, very deep. Because of time, we have a lot in this book.
Yeah.
We have a chapter on faith and also the seasons of life. Because of time, we can't go through. So that is the bit that I would, because of these 2 chapters, I would just urge you to get this book, Outlasting Crisis Season. It's on Amazon, and it's very, very cheap. So please buy this for a friend this year, as a birthday present, as a Mother's Day present, as a Father's Day present. Let us start investing in books. And, to all the parents out there, instead of buying toys, please let us start buying books for our children, and you know, encourage them to read, encourage them to widen, their worldview, their mind, stretch their mind, and also increase their vocabulary as well. Because now you read some of the things that these young girl, like these young guys actually said. Sometimes you just, what are they trying to, write? Because sometimes in quiz, in terms of their vocabulary and stuff like that. So
Yes.
let us support our children, especially those of us that English is not our first language. Please, can we start investing in books? Can we start investing in books? We bought enough. I thought I didn't be enough. Shoes be enough.
Yes.
Now this year, can we just educate ourselves?
Yeah.
And this is one of the books that I would say is one of the best books that I've read. And so,
Thank you.
if I'm
Thank you.
recommending something for you, that I'm not going to shortchange you. I'm going to I will always sell the best to you. So, Outlasting Crisis Season is one of the books that this year I've read. I mean, I would say like this month, yes, I've read. So I've read my first book. So challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. In fact, this year, I'm going to have a time where we challenge ourselves by the books that we've read, and we'll have a show where each and every one will come and talk to us about the book that they've read. I think it sounds good, isn't it?
Great, Anna.
That will,
great.
That will urge our young ones also to to read as well. But because of time, we might have to end our discussion. But before you go, I wish we could talk about the faith, and also, because of time, and also we're just leaving that one out, just for people that are out there to get hold of the book and read for themselves. We just want you to give us some tips or guidelines for success in times of crisis, and also what we can do to create opportunities or unlock our creativity. I mean, anything that you can talk to us about in trying to outlast crisis before we go. Thank you,
Anna. First, I want to say thank you to you and the team, the Inside View. We thank God for a great work that you are doing. I know there's somebody who is watching, somebody who will watch somewhere along the line, that hopefully this meeting is going to add value. Perhaps you are going through something, and we are all going through something. So I know that I'm coming into your home and into your heart with something. Nana, we have said a lot, but I will summarize it based on the question. Nana, I want everybody to write this down. Pain is not seasonal, or pain is not seasonal. Pain must be seen as seasoning. And I'll take you to the kitchen a bit. Salt is a seasoning. I run a restaurant, so I know Maggi cubes. My wife will say, white pepper. Buy me onions. They are seasonings. You see, you have to see pain as one of these things when you go to the kitchen from today. When it comes, don't see it as a seasonal thing. See it that it comes to season your life. You can make soup with no salt and Maggi. But when you mix soup with salt and Maggi and we taste it, it's better than the one without the Maggi. So pain is not seasonal. Pain is a seasoning. Write it down. See that pain comes to season your life, to make it better, not come to destroy it. Some of the things that we have said. I want us to take time to build stronger foundations. If you're a Christian, build stronger foundations. Like Nana is recommending, your children, don't just buy them clothes. In my house, one of the foundations I've built is this. You read a book, I pay you money. You read a book that you won't get it from the school library. Pay attention to the library books they bring from school. Some of them are even very demonic. So in my house, I have my own library. And I built stronger foundations for myself. Now that I have children, for my children. They may not understand it, but they will appreciate you one day. The Bible says in Psalm 11 verse 3, Psalm 11 verse 3, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? If the foundations is destroyed, what can the righteous do? Nothing. So the most important part of our lives is to build foundations so that when the storm comes, the foundation is well built, that we're able to overcome it, because it will come. Personal, community, it will come. You can't stop it. You can never stop a crisis. Number 3, develop correct values and principles. Live life on values and principles. We've talked a lot, so it will help you. Get the books, it will help you. Number 4, be moved by a stronger why early. So it's great that we're having this in January. This can actually propel you so that by December, you look back and it will be the best year of your life by this meeting alone. So be moved by a stronger why, stronger purpose. Number 5, learn to develop a right mindset. By that, I mean character and attitude. That's why we talked about the eagles and the lion. Tenacity. It's like a shock absorber in a car. When it hits a pot in the road, it will just go up and down, but the marriage will stand. And I said it, but we couldn't have time to look at the love life of the eagle. You will love it. You will love it. 14th February, I am hosting a program. Those of you in here, come and join me. I'm hosting a time for married couples. Maybe we'll talk about that. 14th of February. I'm hosting married couples and those in clean relationships. And I'll send it to you. Number 6, let's learn to live life from the inside out, not the outside in. Live life from the inside out, not outside in. There's a difference. So I said an old African proverb. If there is no enemy outside, then there is nothing that can do me harm on the inside. Or if there is no enemy inside, then the harm outside cannot destroy me. Sorry, I just corrected it. If there is no enemy within, then the enemy without can do me no harm. The crisis without can do me no harm. Number 7, invest in your mind. And always put it deep within your subconscious that out of pain comes passion. P, out of pain comes compassion. So if you want to be a very compassionate person like Nelson Mandela, you see, Nelson Mandela became great because of the pain he had gone through, 27 years of imprisonment. And he became the most compassionate person on earth. Because of the hunger Mother Teresa went through herself. Because of the pain of slavery, Martin Luther King became very compassionate and said that I see vision. A time is coming that black and white will work together, and today is happening. So know that out of your pain, look at Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. The cross was not a 5-star hotel. But the Bible says he has now been given a name that is above all names. The same pattern you and I follow into. Those who don't know this will be broken by crisis. Those who know this will rise by crisis. Nana, maybe somebody wants to connect with us. I have a coaching program and I recommend it. And I'll send you the link so that you can share it for people.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes. When it comes to purpose and vision, thank God for 1 hour 35 minutes, but it is not enough.
It's so not
It's
enough.
your life. It's so deep. The young ones, the 16s, the 17s, the 18s. We didn't talk even about the seasons of life. There are 4. Many of you, between 1st and 24, you are in your first season. From 25 to 49, you are in your second season. From 49 to somewhere around 60 there, 65, you are in your third season. You see how winter is cold like that? When you get to 65 to 75 years, talk to them, they'll tell you. That's the winter season. That's where you feel cold. That's where you say, had I known by its last. Yeah. That's when you say that if I had listened to mommy, my life would have changed. You get there, you see. It's in the book. I couldn't talk about it.
Wonderful.
So I recommend mentorship for many. People don't want to pay, but hey, it's nothing. You have to pay. I keep talking about Miles Monroe. I paid for Miles Monroe to mentor me before he died. I read all his books. Paid. He didn't give it to me for free. No. And now I thank God for that. Yes. Wow, so I recommend mentorship. The same way you pay to go to mass classes. Go and pay and study life. Find somebody who will help you. If not, if you want to subscribe to ours, you can. Read books. Do things that the classroom will not give you and the educational systems of the world will not give you. Because some of the things we have talked about here, no school will teach you, with the exception of the School of Nana.
The School of Nana. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, Pastor Kofi has got a coaching school called AFAB. So I'll just, recommend AFAB to, to our parents out there. Please let our children register with AFAB coaching school. If you have a business and you want him to coach you, yes, AFAB, I recommend AFAB, to you. And also, if you need help with anything in any area, anything, shape or form, I would just recommend AFAB. And, the CEO is, Kofi Owusu Amoateng. And that's our pastor, behind the screens. And I think he'll be able to, help in every, like in any area that you might need him to, help you with. And also, he's written 4 books and a lot of audiobooks. This is one of them. Outlast crisis season. The relevant church, a life for a purpose, and the 4 quadrants of just
4 quadrants of greatness.
Yes,
the 4 quadrants of greatness.
The 4 quadrants and
the relevant church.
The relevant church, and this book, and many
preparing
more.
For the future.
Yeah,
Nana, so almost about 10 books online.
Yes. Yeah. So please visit AFAB Coaching School, and all his materials are there. You can find him on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on TikTok as well. Everything about Kofi Amoateng Owusu is there. And also, if you happen to be in Bradford, we have the first African restaurant called Young Spice. I've visited, Young Spice, numerous times, and it's getting better and better.
Hallelujah.
And I want to eat in the wache and the jollof. So I'm just inviting everybody. If you happen to be in Manchester, Leeds, Halifax, Huddersfield, wherever you find yourself, please, Young Spice. Young Spice has come to stay. And their food, oh my, is sumptuous. So tasty as well. And they cater for every event, wedding, you name it. Every event. Yeah, so Young Spice, yes, you can find them, on Google Maps. So if you happen to be in Bradford, wherever, just Google, Young Spice, and it will take you straight to the place. And thank you so much. We've begun the year very well. That is why I start my year very, very intentionally and also strategically, just to prepare you ahead. We've talked about resolutions, and then we talked about how we can outlast crisis. So this year, no matter what comes our way, We've been educated tonight. We've been enlightened tonight. You know, to be able to soar like the eagle in order to, you know, outlast any crisis that would actually come our way. You know, every crisis is an opportunity for character building and promotion.
Yes.
Every crisis is an opportunity for character building and promotion. So this year, if you want to outlast any crisis that happens your way, then you need to be intentional. You need to, you know, build your mental capacity. You need to prepare yourself. Your faith needs to be strong. And also you need to be mindful about the seasons of life. And also your purpose. And what, you know, vision and sight actually does in trying to outlast crisis. Tonight, thank you so much. And to everyone that has supported me till 2024, I say thank you. It's about to go bigger.
Yes.
And this year, you know, just like I said, you know, during my intro, we are going to, you know, be more intimate with you, bring you more stories, real life stories, educational programs. You know, just like you all know, my program or my platform is not meant for junk. I don't have time for that. So,
Yes.
you know, to a lot of people, it might not be what you like, but that's fine. But I think I'm old enough to be able to contribute to society. So I'm thinking this is what I can also do, to bring illumination, to bring enlightenment, to bring education, to bring awareness. And that is what I have decided to do. So please, let's all join in. Jump on the train and let's change the world.
Yes.
Let's change the world. Let's change the mindset of the young, you know, like of our young ones. Let's change the mindset. The mind is a very, very powerful, or the brain is a very, very, very powerful tool, or a powerful organ, yes, in the body. And if you train it intentionally, it responds. It responds. So this year, I'm just asking you, what kind of food are you going to feed your brain? What kind of food are you going to give to your mind, to your eyes? Be intentional so that you can outlast crisis. Thank you, and thanks for watching. Thank you so much, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Nana.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank everyone.
Thank you.